Back in April of 2024, Civil War hit cinemas, and there was a lot of discussion about them using the DJI Ronin 4D for some of its scenes. And this has happened again this year with Netflix's Adolescence, Alex Garland's latest film Warfare, the recently released F1, and the upcoming Running Man remake, which all use the 4D in their production. Adolescence has definitely had more discussion online than Warfare, but I think that's due to the unique one-take production style for each of its 4-hour-long episodes. This aspect of the show became a massive talking point in the filmmaking community, and as always, the camera system they used is at the heart of these discussions. Well, this is what they used, the DJI Ronin 4D paired with the beautiful Cooke SP3 32mm. And in today's video, I want to explore what makes the 4D so unique, what DJI's recent price adjustment means for it, and hopefully show you why it may be worth considering for your next project. So let's get into it. DJI recently adjusted the pricing and packages of the 4D to make it slightly more affordable for people to get into the ecosystem. The 6K system is now £4,289 and the 8K one is £8,649. They both come with slightly different accessories, but neither of them include the wireless high bright monitor and transmitter module for the camera, whereas they did for the past year and a bit. When you factor this in, this means the price drop on the 6K is pretty minimal, but the 8Ks is a bit more substantial. Here's a list of the cameras and what they both come with. We will cover the key different accessories for the 4D later in this video. This price adjustment does position these systems pretty aggressively now in the market, especially the 6K. Considering what you get for that price and how unique the system is, this does make it quite an interesting option for a lot of people. But which one should you get between the 6 and the 8K? As we've said, the 4D is available in two different versions, the 6K and the 8K. The main difference between these is the sensors used in the different Zenmousse heads, which you can easily remove and interchange between bodies. You can get the X9 8K separately, but not the 6K head. You can then use them across the same body, which makes it really great if you want to upgrade from the 6K to the 8K head later on down the road. Both of these sensors have pros and cons, but the 8K is considered the upgrade over the 6K. Though the 6K is probably the more popular one out of the two for us, mainly because of the substantial price difference. When it comes to high frame rates, the 6K can record up to 60 frames per second in a 2.39:1 aspect ratio, or 50 frames per second in 17:9 full frame mode, and then 4K up to 120 in its Super 35 2.39:1 mode. The 8K can capture 8K up to 75 frames per second in a 2.39:1 aspect ratio, or up to 60 in its full frame 17:9 mode, and then 4K up to 120 in its full frame mode. The slow motion footage from these cameras actually looks really good. We haven't actually run the 4D systems through our regular latitude testing, so let's take a look at how they perform. We shot both cameras in ProRes RAW at their low and high base ISOs, and we also did a pass with both dynamic range boost mode on and off with the 8K. Here's a breakdown of our methodology for these tests. Right, let's take a look at the results. Starting with overexposure, looking at the 6K, it performs really well. It looks really good up to 5 stops over, where we can finally see Sam's skin starting to break a little bit. From here to 6 stops, we can see the image breaking more and more. Looking at the 8K with boost mode off, we can see Sam's skin starting to break at around 4 stops over. If we toggle the boost mode on, you get roughly a stop's worth of improved highlight retention. The 6K performs well, looking a touch better than the 8K even with the boost mode on. However, when we look at underexposure testing, it's a slightly different story. Starting with the 6K, we can see it performs well up to 3 stops, where we can start to see some CMOS smearing creep in and obvious chroma noise. Performance between low and high base mode is very similar. Maybe the high mode has a little bit more noise to it though. Looking at the 8K, comparing the low and high base ISOs, they're actually quite different. The low base looks much greener than the higher base, which shifts much more purple. If we compare the 8K camera with boost mode on and off, we can again see a clear difference as well. There is much more pink noise in the boost mode shots. With boost mode off, we can see a much greener image, though it is cleaner overall compared to the boost mode on. Comparing the 6K against the 8K, I think the 8K does look cleaner with its boost mode off. Both systems shoot a few different formats internally, including ProRes RAW, ProRes, and H.264, but the 6K has the option to record in 4444XQ and 422LT, which the 8K doesn't. ProRes RAW is an optional extra which used to cost just under £1,000, but with the price adjustment they did recently, they also dropped the price of the 4D RAW license down to £1, which effectively makes it a free upgrade for any Ronin 4D existing owners, who haven't upgraded yet, or any other new 4D owners. You can purchase this license through DJI's website, a link to which is in the description below. ProRes RAW is still not the most well-supported RAW format, but the 4D having the option to shoot that alongside regular ProRes and more compressed options is very helpful. Both systems have the ability to switch between different base ISOs. The 6K can switch between 800 and 5000, and the 8K can switch between 320 and 1600 in its default mode, and then 800 and 4000 with the camera's dynamic range expansion mode on. This does make them both pretty decent in low light and quite versatile. When it comes to readout speeds, the 6K in its 17:9 mode has a readout time of roughly 21.1 milliseconds. The 8K's readout times are a bit more complicated due to its dynamic range expansion mode. In its full frame 17:9 mode with boost mode off, its readout speed is actually quicker than the 6K at roughly 16.3 milliseconds, and with it on, it's roughly 31.4 milliseconds. It's great that with the 8K you have the two options to either go with faster readout speeds with the boost mode off, and then if you can deal with the higher readout speeds and need the extra dynamic range, you can just toggle boost mode on. As we said, there's a pretty decent price difference between these two, and I think given the performance differences between them, it does make sense. One other thing we noticed while testing is that the 8K seems to have much nicer colour to it than the 6K, and the 8K does come with a few more bits for the extra cash out of the box. If you're considering using a 4D though, there are definitely some other things to think about if you're coming from a more traditionally designed cine or mirrorless camera. One of these things to consider, which is a little bit different with the 4D, is lensing. Because of the whole design of the camera and the weight and size limitations of the gimbal, you are limited with what lenses you can use and how you use them. The 4D systems use DJI's DL mount as standard, which there are a few lenses for, but fortunately you can swap that out easily to one of DJI's other third-party lens mount options, such as Sony E, Leica L and M mount, or even use PL with mounts from Nissi and DZO. E-mount is a very popular choice with the Ronin 4D system, as you can use the focus motors in E-mount lenses with the 4D's LiDAR system for autofocus. DJI has a compatibility list which not only tells you which will physically work with this camera, but also whether or not it will work with the autofocus system as well. DJI also make an optional counterweight which can be attached onto the back of the gimbal for longer, heavier lenses, and again, this is something that is noted on their compatibility charts. Like I said, you can also go to PL mount using something like DZO's Octopus PL, which is a very lightweight mount and will allow you to use a select few PL mount lenses if you do need to. I've seen the DoLens APO Mini Primes, Nissi Athenas, and even DZO's Vespid Primes all balanced on the 4D before. Some of the more popular smaller lenses I've seen on the 4D though have to be Leica's M08s, Cooke's SP3s, BIPOC's Samira Cs, DJI's own DL lenses, and a good few Sony E-mount lenses. And we've been testing these Viltrox DL lenses for a while as well, and they're a good option too. Though I do think that lenses are one of the biggest compromises that you're going to have to make with the 4D. If you want to use the fourth axis, you are limited with how long and heavy lenses can be with it still working. If you want to use longer, heavier lenses, you'll need to lock off the gimbal and may even need lens support if you want a more robust, reliable setup. This can make some configurations very large and unwieldy, but I can't imagine many people are using 7200s a lot with the 4D. Anyway, if you want to test a specific lens combination or configuration with the 4D, contact demo@cvp.com to book a hands-on demonstration at one of our showrooms across the UK and Belgium. If you want to keep up with the latest and greatest kit, please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you want to buy anything you see in this video or want to get your hands on the Ronin 4D or any other kit for that matter, head over to cvp.com where our experienced team is waiting to help you. One of the biggest selling points of the Ronin 4D is just how versatile the camera's ecosystem of accessories makes it, and how packed with features and functions it is. DJI has created a really good range of kit around the 4D, which makes it a pretty integrated system. It's almost like Apple made a camera. First off, you have the gimbal system and fourth axis stabilization, which makes the 4D so unique. It being so compact but offering this level of stabilization is really impressive and gives the footage from it a really unique look for a system this small without any other support kit set around it. Though you will often see operators using some kind of supporter system with the 4D to help with weight distribution, like an Easy Rig or Ready Rig for longer operation times. Having the fourth axis really helps smooth out that up and down motion you get when using a gimbal by itself. This makes it fantastic for shooting in cars or rigging on cars, for walk and talks, action scenes, and loads more. Control is also one of the best things about the 4D. because of the ecosystem DJI have built around it and their years of experience building gimbals, which can be controlled really well as well, the 4D can be controlled remotely really well. You can also get a wireless module for the camera, which can then transmit low latency video to a receiver or DJI's high bright monitor, which you can control the camera through. You can also control the head's position on the body remotely, so you can recompose and control it really nicely. The camera comes with these fantastic side handles as well, which you can swap out to dumb handles if you'd like. But these included ones allow you to control the camera pretty comprehensively while holding it. They can also be removed and attached onto the DJI high bright monitor, and flex while still offering control. The flex allows you to remove the 4D sensor head and then attach it to the body via a cable, allowing you to reduce the size of the package being handheld, though this does remove the 4D function. The Ronin 4D features a serious step up in LiDAR focusing performance with its updated unit over their previous implementations, and DJI have even improved on this with their recent Focus Pro system. This LiDAR can enable autofocus with a huge range of lenses, including manual focus ones, which you can map and save presets for in the camera. I do wish that you could be more granular with this, as currently you only set it using 2 distances. I wish you could just add as many as you want. You can also use the LiDAR when manual focusing, which is great as well. When using the high bright monitor, you can wirelessly transmit the focus waveform, which gives you a depth map of your scene, which is a really unique way of focusing. The autofocus is pretty decent, though LiDAR does have some limitations like haze and distance. But at least you have really nice focusing control either wirelessly or on the body using the grips and the built-in monitor. We've been providing Ronin 4D packages to solo creators all the way up to rental houses and cinematographers since it was released, and that means that our technical consultants and sales team know this camera inside out, and we have all of the key accessories that you may need for the 4D. Here are some cool accessories worth knowing about. Pidgeotech has a backpack solely designed for the 4D, which allows you to use the 4D with the flex attached while in the bag. Tilter create a cage system for it, which means that you can lock down the flex with it and add support for longer lenses. You can actually use the Focus Pro motors and hand unit with the 4D. Ignite Digi make a backplate for the wireless monitor to use TB50s, and have their fantastic control deck for controlling this system wirelessly. There's a bunch more to think about, and we know exactly how it all goes together. So if you want to come in and test the 4D out for yourself, we have them and loads of accessories for them across our UK and European showrooms, where you can get your hands on and test the cameras, rig them up, and check out some lenses with one of our knowledgeable technical consultants. If you want to book an appointment, drop demo@cvp.com and email. If you're interested in grabbing one of these for yourself, I've put links in the description below. Anyway, make sure to join our Discord and let us know what you think of this price drop. Link to join us is in the description. And to stay up to date with all our upcoming content, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. And thank you so much for watching.